Today on Fresno State Focus, see how Fresno State football fans create a game day environment like no other.
Plus, what farmers and irrigation managers predict for this year's El Nino pattern.
And out with the old and in with the new, a long-term Bulldog merch store is closed. You do not want to miss what's coming in its place. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello, and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Cameron Butler.
And I'm Jacqueline Alvarez. Ever wonder how ASI helps students? Well, you do not have to any longer, because I went to find out how ASI funding is giving back to students and what ASI actually helps with. ASI stands for the Associated Students Incorporated, which is a nonprofit student-run government that gives an official voice to students on campus. At Fresno State, our ASI team works to build a budget to help with those needs. Just this year, ASI's budget went up by $400,000 from the previous year. This money is used to help with many things, such as supporting organizations and students.
It's like different avenues of making sure it's not just like student engagement or student involvement, it's also more of what the students actually need if it's coming to like their personal values.
ASI has provided the student cupboard this year with $10,000 so it can now be open on Saturday, making it more accessible for students. It pays for the wages and other supplies.
It's really good when your student government supports student programming, but also, we've collaborated with them before on like food distribution.
ASI senators often volunteer. Recently, they helped box donated vegetables.
It's really about serving students, because that's why we're here. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So when we come across student needs or concerns, then it's our job to forward that or to try and help mitigate that with the university administration.
Marco Flores is the Senator of Social Sciences for ASI. He is here to tell us more about ASI from his point of view. Welcome, Marco. Thank you for being here and doing this interview.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. So I have one question for you, and I really want to know, what is it like to be part of the student body government?
It's an amazing experience. I get to work with faculty and admin pretty much on a daily basis. I meet with the Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment almost weekly. And I get to know a lot of what's going on with the students here on campus. Being able to meet with admin is an experience that I would never change for the world, just because I get to know the background of what's going on. Because before I was in ASI, I had no idea how the school worked. So it's a good experience.
Good. And so could you explain how you are involved with students on campus and as their senator?
Yeah, of course. So actually right now, I partnered with the Senator of Sustainability, Marcos Mendez, and I used some of my sustainment outreach funds to buy a recycling bin for the campus. And it's things like that that we get to stay involved with. This past weekend, I went to Cal State Maritime to lobby on behalf of the Cal State students and learn more about what's going on with a lot of hot topic issues on campus, such as the faculty strike that's going on right now.
And so what information did you get about that faculty strike, and how are you bringing that here to campus, reinforming students?
Well, it was more of talking to the student presidents from other universities and understanding what's going on their campuses or what they're hearing from their faculty or administration. I'm a little concerned, but I feel like at the end of the day, Fresno State is going to survive, the CSU is going to survive, and the strike will not last long if there is one. A lot of people are optimistic that there is going to be a deal made and fair contracts will be implemented.
All right, well, thank you, Marco. We'll definitely be wanting to hear about that. Thank you for joining us, and back to you on the desk.
Fresno State has seen an uptick of interest in pickleball across town and even as close as Campus Point. Recently, some of the empty storefronts at Campus Point were host to pop-up pickleball courts. Throughout the month of November, people can stop by every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 10 to play pickleball. It is $15 to play all night, or if you're only looking to play a round or two, you can pay $5 per hour. Good news for fans of Randy's Donuts. LA's iconic donut chain is coming to Fresno. There will be 2 new Randy's Donuts locations in Fresno. One will be in the old Bulldog Fan Zone building right across the street from Fresno State. The other will be located at Palm and Bullard. The Bulldog Fan Zone closed the stores in January after being in business for 23 years. Randy's Donuts is set to open in early 2024. November is National American Indian Heritage Month, and the Fresno State Cross-Cultural and Gender Center is hosting a movie night. The movie will be a modern film that shows Native American experiences prior to Conquest era. The goal of the event is to invite people to create a larger discussion about the ways in which Native stories are told. The movie is tomorrow night at the Fresno State Library in room 2206. It's free and starts at 6 and is open to everyone. Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we give you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into making a candle.
Temperatures and maybe some rain. I'll have your focus on weather after the break.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head. I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to say. I got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Hey, down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit
deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Welcome back. I'm Liam Cavaletto with your focus on weather. As we take a look at the national satellite, you can see that it is mostly clear in the western part of the country, but we are seeing some rain, and that is transitioning into snow as it moves throughout the Midwest and into the upper Great Lakes. Now, if we take a look at our western satellite, you can see that it is pretty clear here in California and on portions of the Pacific Northwest, but you do see a band of rain and showers out in the Pacific Ocean. That will not be heading our way, at least as of now. So if we go ahead and take a look at today's highs, it is going to be mostly nice today and mostly around average with highs in the 60s. You are seeing some outlying areas in the 70s, Stockton at 70, Modesto's at 67, Los Banos also at 70, and then 68 for Porterville. Moving on to today's lows, you can see that it is going to be a chilly night, so you're going to want to bundle up. 38 in Stockton, 36 in Mariposa, 39 for Madera, and 40s for Fresno, Mendota, and Porterville. Now, if we take a look at our air quality for today, you can see that we are good for the northern end of the valley, San Joaquin down through Merced County, Madera down through Kern. You're looking at moderate air quality for today and good for Sequoia National Park. Now, on to our 7-day, you can see that it is going to be very nice in the 70s and 60s, nice for Veterans Day at 69. Moving towards the later parts of next week, we're going to see highs in the upper 60s with some chances of rain. Climate scientists are predicting an El Niño weather pattern for this coming winter. An El Niño is when the jet stream moves further south in the Pacific. This creates warmer, potentially wetter winters. With the potential for heavy rains, how do we prepare? I talked with people from the ag industry to the irrigation district to find out how they prepare.
Harvest season on the Fresno State Farm takes a lot of preparation.
I think as a state we could do better at capturing this runoff water.
But what if you also have to prepare the farm for this? Robert Wilmot is the interim farm manager at the Fresno State Farm. Wilmot says one thing planned for the farm this year in the event of flooding is making sure the school reservoirs that receive the water are prepared to handle the situation.
We're making sure that our reservoirs have enough room to account for when the canal fills up from the rain going into there, and the flood waters, how it's all gathered, goes into that canal, and then we get rid of it. So we're making sure we have a sufficient storage in there.
But before the water ends up here in the school reservoir, it starts as mountain snow that melts and runs into local dams.
Once all that water makes its way into our local dams, the rights are then given to local irrigation districts, who then decide on the allocation.
The way water allocations are made to our growers at FID is each acre of land that receives surface water from FID gets about 0.39 acre feet per acre per month. So about this much water stacked on the ground.
Adam Clays is the Assistant General Manager of Operations at Fresno Irrigation District. Clays says before allocation decisions are made, the district has to make sure they are also prepared for the storms.
Month of November, the first part of December, where we go into our canals and get them repaired, maintained, perform important projects, the structure replacements while it's not raining.
Now keep in mind, last year we saw a La Nina, which usually means drier winters. However, that was not the case. Fresno got nearly 18 inches of rain between October 1st, 2022 and the end of September this year. 2023 was Fresno's 7th wettest year on record. Joining me now to tell us more about El Nino and what we can expect is Christian Matarocchia, a meteorologist from the National Weather Service in Hanford. Christian, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure, Liam.
So the first thing I'm curious about is we have seen that El Nino can affect different parts of the state given by their geography, like it might affect Central California different than Southern California. Can you tell us what we can expect here in Central California?
Yes, that's very true. And El Nino doesn't automatically mean that we will see a wet winter. However, there is a 44% chance that we will see above normal precipitation. But the mountains, the highest elevations, and the foothills are the areas that would be hard hit from storms that are because of El Nino, or otherwise known as atmospheric rivers or Pineapple Express storms. So Southern California has some elevations, and of course here in Fresno County in the Central Sierra Nevada, we do have some high elevations going to 10,000 feet. So those would be the hard hit areas.
Yeah, and do you have any advice for how people prepare for this kind of thing? Not just people that aren't necessarily farmers, maybe just your everyday, regular people who live here in the valley.
Sure. So if you live in a flood vulnerable area, you want to have a go bag ready. So that's just a bag of maybe a day or two worth of clothes and essential items such as medications. So if you do have to evacuate, you can. If you live in an area that isn't as prone to flooding, you just want to make sure you have an umbrella that works and that you have your raincoat ready to go.
And real quickly, is there anywhere that people can follow you on social media or anything for the National Weather Service?
Sure. The National Weather Service in Hanford is on Facebook and on X, otherwise known as Twitter. And our website is weather.gov/HNX.
Right. Christian Matarocchia from the National Weather Service in Hanford. Christian, thank you for joining us.
As we dive deeper into the holidays, we start to smell more fall scents. And what better way to do that than candles? I traveled to downtown Fresno where I got an inside scoop on the candle making process. Most of us love candles. Have you ever endured the process to make your very own while having a mocktail? What started off as a COVID project for Joy Alvarado turned into Fresno's first and only candle bar where people can learn, make, and enjoy the process.
To this day, the setup that we have for the workshops is the exact same setup that we had for the very first time I did it. And it worked smoothly, so I just never changed it. And that's pretty much where it went. I started going to people's houses, and then I got my location.
The main ingredients are soy wax and non-toxic fragrance oils. The wax must be kept hot at all times at 200 degrees. The wax can be poured at that temperature, but can only be stirred and mixed with the scents of your choosing once it drops to 230 degrees. And while the freshly poured wax is hard to see with it being a clear color, it hardens white like these candles in just a short amount of time. A candle needs 5 to 7 days to fully cure before it can be lit. But with an assortment of scents, decorative flowers, and theme pins to add in, it could be tempting to want to light the candle right after the experience.
Just like being able to just like
educate you on how to make your own candle.
and kind of just
and take something home with you.
it's like here's a drink, here's candy, here's this. It's just like the experience has a lot of layers to it, which is really cool.
Information on how to make custom candles like these right here, you can visit joyalvarado.com or Joyce Validas on Instagram. The Department of Recreation and Administration will host the Sounds of Fresno event at Zavelli Winery later this month on November 19th. Here today to talk with me a little bit more about the event is Dr. Sam Lankford of the Department of Rec and Administration. Dr. Lankford, thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, regards to this event, one of the purposes is to highlight like the diverse music scene in Fresno. So what made you guys come up with that idea and find these bands?
Well, we wanted to do a special event for the department, and it's part of a fundraising event for scholarships.
Nice.
And so we had one event on Saturday.
Perfect.
Already.
And so with this event, because you guys did one, like last Saturday the 4th, and then another one coming up on the 19th, how long does it take to plan out an event like this?
We've been planning this since late August.
Definitely a few months.
Yeah.
And what made you guys choose a winery to do it? Because there was like a lot of different venues in the valley,
Yeah.
and specifically like that.
Well, one of our alumni does all the special events for that winery, and her family owns that winery, and she offered to help us stage this event.
That's really cool. And so I know, what can other people expect out at this event besides like the pizza, the wine, and of course music?
Some great music. So we have had one really good band. Good Medicine is the name of that band. That was the 4th. And then upcoming is Hillbilly Jazz Band, and they don't play jazz, but they play everything in between.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lankford. And again, the event is free, and Sunday, November 19th is the next one from 1 to 4.
For many people in Fresno, the only way to reach the hot spots in Fresno is to drive there. But that won't be the case for long. Ricky Oakes has a look at the new form of transportation that will bring people directly to downtown Fresno.
That's right, Jackie. I'm live here in downtown Fresno, and as the lights turn on one of the trolleys that will be running tomorrow night from 5 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And no, I'm not talking about one of those trolleys that's on rails, rather on wheels. This is one of the 2 trolleys that will be active as a part of Fresno Hop. And to give us more information is going to be Gregory. Gregory, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. It's good to have you guys here as we launch Fresno Hop.
So, can you tell us where these Fresno Hop trolleys are going to be going from?
So we'll have one trolley going southbound, beginning at Campus Point, coming into the Brewery District, and then one going northbound, starting at the Brewery District, going up to toward Campus Point. Every hour, at the top of the hour, we'll have one bus going each way.
Yeah, and then these trolleys that are able to fit in 32 people. What makes this so much different from, per se, like taking an Uber after a night out?
Well, because it's free. It's free, it's fun, it's great entertainment that, you and your friends can just hop aboard. There's no worries, once you get on board. Just enjoy the ride and let us take you where you want to go.
So you're telling me, after a night of partying or getting a couple drinks at the Brewery District or Tower District, I can just hop on for free?
Yes. So from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight on Thursdays, and then 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, this trolley is free for you, the Fresno Hop.
And then if someone wants to get more information on this, how are they going to be able to get that information?
So they can contact the City of Fresno through our 311 number or at the City of Fresno's website, which is fresno.gov.
Gregory, thank you so much for all the information, sir. It's been a pleasure talking to you for the past 30 minutes about this. It's a great, fantastic experience. I know Jerry Dyer's excited about it. I know a lot of Fresno residents are also excited about it, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We look forward to having you guys ride.
Yeah, so if you're out experiencing the Fresno State nightlife or Fresno nightlife tomorrow night, why not take the Fresno Hop Bus? From downtown Fresno, I'm Ricky Oakes with Fresno State Focus. Jackie and Cam, back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Ricky. Spotlight Events is hosting Stress Free Week on campus. Today they hosted a relax and refresh event in the RSU Reese Ballroom. This gave students a nice break. They got massages, snacks, and a chance to learn more about how to handle stress and anxiety. Earlier this week, they also hosted the Spotlight Market. This gave students who own small businesses the chance to sell their items, including keychains and dog tags, bouquets, accessories, and more.
Spotlight Events is putting on the Spotlight Student Market, where student vendors come out and they sell from their student-owned businesses. And then Spotlight themselves had 100 tickets that we gave out for the Rolling Donut, which is a donut business on wheels, basically.
Tomorrow night, Spotlight Events will host a Dine and Dish event from 6 to 8 in the RSU. For more information, visit Spotlight Events on Instagram.
The cheer team had plenty of helping hands at halftime.
Also, head coach Jeff Tedford's charge to the Red Wave. How did they respond? Stay tuned for sports with Cynthia Carranza.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Fresno State football heads to San Jose State this Saturday, now 8-1 this season and second in the Mountain West Conference. The Dogs defeated rival Boise State 37-30 on Saturday to win the Milk Can Trophy for the first time since 2017. The star of the game was none other than running back Malik Sherrod, who was named the Paul Hornig National Player of the Week for his all-around versatility. Sherrod totaled 255 yards and 2 scores, including the team's first kickoff return for a touchdown since 2008. During the post-game press conference, the tailback said he was ready to play from the moment he woke up.
I had a little chip on my shoulder. I felt like they didn't give me opportunity, and then on top of that, running back coach was over there too, so I just tried to show him that, we got a better room over here.
According to Sherrod, the Broncos never tried to recruit him. He also referenced his former running back, Coach James Montgomery, who left the Bulldogs for Boise State in January. Sherrod and the Bulldogs head north this weekend to take on the Red Hot Spartans. Kickoff is at 7:30. Heading into the game against Boise, the biggest story wasn't just what was happening on the field, but rather off the field. Ricky Oates jumped into the stands to see how some words made an impact in the bleachers.
One phrase was emphasized by fans heading into this fierce rivalry.
Have that Bulldog spirit.
Bulldog spirit is the mantra that made a resurgence during the Dorito era back in 2013. That Bulldog spirit, however, was in question not for the people on the field, but rather off the field. Following the close win to UNLV, Coach Jeff Tedford was asked about the fans' lack of fan etiquette.
We need it loud on first and second down. We need it loud every single down. When we go play in places that are really tough environments, it's loud always. I shouldn't say always, not when we have the ball, because sometimes we're loud when we have the ball. We don't want to be loud when we have the ball.
Crowd loudness wasn't the only issue, though, as lifelong fans like David Guzman note fans leaving early as an issue.
Stay for the game. You never know what's going to happen. If you left early when we played San Diego State last year, you missed it. Don't leave early.
So, how did the Red Wave respond? From the Fresno State opening drive, the crowd made noise after the plays on offense. And when the defense showed up, so was the crowd noise on a majority of the downs, especially on third, peaking at over 110 decibels on one of the third downs. And of course, there was no sign of the red wave until needed most in the third quarter on defense. And this impact was felt as the red wave boosted the Dogs to the 37-30 win over Boise. Coach Tedford had some additional words for the fans.
Our fans were totally different tonight. Totally different on first and second down. I thought they were great. We need to make that a tradition, by meaning every week. We didn't do that, but really proud of our fans. It was great to see them into it tonight.
From Valley Children's Stadium, Ricky Oakes, Fresno State Focus.
Coach Tedford wants to see this happen at every game. The next home game is against New Mexico on November 18th. This will be your last chance to see the Dogs in action at Valley Children's Stadium this year. At Spirit Fest, the kids create core memories on the field while also contributing to the funds for our dancers. Spirit Fest took place on the field at Fresno State's rivalry game over the weekend. The dance and cheer team led over 400 kids onto the football stadium at halftime to fundraise for Fresno State's Spirit program. Participants as young as 3 years old performed with pom-poms in hand. This event came full circle for some student athletes at Fresno State who participated in this event as a kid but are now leading the event as a Spirit leader. Fresno State men's basketball opened their season on Monday night with the 77-66 victory over Fresno Pacific. I just want to keep saying that over and over again. The Dogs were led by former high school teammates Eduardo Andre and Xavier Dussel. Andre had 17 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, and also had 4 blocks. Meanwhile, Dussel led the team in scoring with 19 points and 4 steals. Dussel spoke after the game on his confidence in shooting from beyond the arc.
Playing to my strengths, doing what I do best. I put a lot of work into my shot, and I'm very confident in the work that I put in. So when I see daylight, I only need a little bit of time, a little bit of space. I just shoot it and I let the ball do the rest.
Dussel made 4 of his 7 3-point attempts on Monday. He and the Bulldogs will be in Ohio this Saturday as they take on Kent State at 4 o'clock. Fans can watch the game on ESPN+. Dussel is also a broadcast and multi-platform journalism major, so one day you'll be seeing him right here where I'm standing on Fresno State Focus. That's your focus on sports. Back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. The Bulldog impact is worldwide. Donations on Day of Giving came from 42 different states and 7 countries.
The 7th annual Day of Giving began with a kickoff breakfast to empower student success. This year's fundraising campaign had nearly 2,000 donors. Together, the money raised was almost $500,000. Each year, these donations contribute to research, scholarships, student supporting resources, and co-curricular activities. This is not just a donation, it is an investment in future generations. Yeah, let's talk about this weather. I mean, October just ended. It's now like beginning of November, and it's still a little toasty out.
Yeah, I mean, it's cold in the morning and then it gets hot. It's like you have to bring a sweater.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to wear what I got on me and get through school and go home.
That's what I'm saying. It's been stumping me like on what to wear and stuff like that. But
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for like fall vibes, winter vibes.
I could tell you are. You went to go make candles.
Yeah.
You're ready to go be inside and be nice and cozy. So I can see that you definitely, want to just go to break already. Are you done with school yet? Like just ready to go?
Exactly. Not soon enough.
All right. Well, next week on Fresno State Focus, we can get an inside look at the Fresno State Marching Band.
Plus, we see a Fresno State student taking fashion into his own hands.
Also, we cover an event honoring lives lost in the LGBTQ+ community.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.